Alright. So I have like trouble sleeping usually, right? Because like I tend to think a lot. Like my brain starts to like reminisce about the dumbest thing in the world, like stuff that doesn't even matter. Like, oh, I can't believe you did this to this guy, or like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, right? And so essentially, it makes me like get pretty embarrassed at myself for no reason. There's no reason to, but I just get embarrassed at myself, right? So I learned after several months or after several years of doing this, I guess it like it just happened. I realized this is the only way I can sleep. Just imagine myself being like the ruler of an completely destroyed nation, right? So I ask myself every single time, I always liked being like nationalist ethnically. So I always thought I was like the Korean king, thinking myself like in the medieval Korean time, trying to make Korea like the greatest and ultimately somehow taking over the world. Like I would think strategically every single way I can possibly do this. Read the newspaper like endlessly just to see what's happening in current events and apply it to my dream just so that I get so tired about thinking up all these strategies and just pass out. But now I realized after several years of constantly sleeping like this, it gets boring. So I went to the next best thing. What is the worst possible country you can possibly live into that is completely dysfunctional? People are killing each other left and right. There's like even if you want to do something, people can't work because they're sick and stuff. And I got that country. It was the Congos. So I told myself, fine, I'll be what Korean people hate to be, an African American. So I decided I was gonna become like an African president, right? A dictator, right? But not only a dictator, like a president who just got elected, but is in the whim of the military, and somehow I like managed to bribe these dictators, and eventually like try to get my country together. But then like the twist about this dream was that I would make it so all my people have like AIDS or like dying of hunger or like famine or like there's a malaria everywhere, right? On top of that, like there's a civil war going on, right? There's another group that wants their own country, like trying to separate from me, right? And all when this is happening, the military thinks they're like the king, right? So me just getting recently elected is my starting point. And I ask myself, how am I going to become the king of this country? And not only become the king of this country, but to eventually take over the whole entire world. Now, that's my new dream. And I feel like that's how I'm going to end up sleeping every single day until I complete it. It's like a chess match.